This is PC747 sitting here with my Pixel, and if you notice something a little bit different, I'm rocking the Android P developer build number 2 here. Now this is not my daily driver phone, as I wouldn't put something like that on my daily driver, as you know it's still full of some bugs, according to Google. Now for playing with it so far, I haven't noticed anything that would make it, something that would keep it from being a daily driver. But just to be safe, I would recommend this. You put this in your main phone. So sitting here on my Pixel, I want to go over some of the things I like about the new developer build. As you know, there's a lot of people talking about it, so I'm not going to add anything new to what they putting out there. I just want to talk about my views, what I like, some of the things I do not like. So let's go ahead and start with some. The first thing, as you see, is the new gesture button down there, or as I call it, the pill. Now, what I like starting from the beginning is that, first of all, Google don't force this on you, and I hope they continue to do that when they finally do release this out to the public for those to download it, that they don't force this brand new gesture feature on people, and instead do like they did with the developer build. So if you want to turn this on, first thing first, you need to go into settings. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the settings menu, and if you go into systems, you're gonna see where it shows gestures here. Click on that, and from there you will have the one more. Let's go ahead and swipe up on the home button. Now out of the box, this is how it comes with your standard back button, your home button, and your recent button. Now, if you want to play around with gestures, or as they call it, swipe up on the home button, you just turn it on, and you have the pill with the back button. Now, the back button is only going to be there where there's an option to go back, and that's why you didn't see it on the home screen, because, well, there's no option to go back there. So let's go ahead and continue to look at some of the things that I like. And before I go back and play around with the gestures, let's go ahead and stay in the settings menu and just look at some of the things that Google changed in settings. Now, overall, let's look at the design. Google kind of took some things from, Samsung and LG here, and added a little color to the settings menu. Before, when you looked at settings from, this previous build from Google, it was kind of just black and whitish. But yeah, they went ahead and added a little color to that, and that's a nice little change there. So as we continue on, let's go ahead and go into battery. And another addition that I like is that the fact that you can go ahead and turn battery percentage on in the status bar. Now before, for those of you who've been playing with Android, you'll know that, depending on what kind of phone you had, that wasn't there out of the box. In fact, for me to get that there, I had to go into the system UI tuner, which in order to get that, you had to hold on the settings button for a very long time until you got the spinning wheel, and it became like a secret option. So from there, I would be able to go in and turn the battery percentage on. But out of the box, you were able to utilize that. So, good deal there. Also, you got adaptive battery. What this does is, apps that you barely use, it limits how often it, drains in your battery. So for me, it's tune-in radio. I use that once in a blue moon. So, I wouldn't want something like that to still be running in the background and killing my battery, especially when, you're trying to get through the rest of the day. So good job there. Another thing that, I see an improvement was with the adaptive brightness. Now before, I wouldn't use adaptive brightness because, when Google first launched it, it was just all over the place. It just, you could tell it was still trying to, learn, and it did more to, annoy me and kill battery life than it did, anything else. And plus, for the most part, I feel like, okay, I can do that on my own. But Google did a good job this time really turning this into something where the software is learning from you. And that is something that, was put out there in the press conference the other day, is that Google is building this software to learn how you utilize your phone. And that was pretty much the case when we were talking about the battery earlier, is that it learns what apps you use a lot and which apps you don't, and push those to the forefront, those that you mainly use. For example, if you're someone who's a business person who is always relying on your emails and phone calls and certain apps for doing your job, when you get to the point where your battery life gets, start to get low, okay, it's going to, allow you to utilize those apps. But apps, like I said, that you don't use at all, well, it's going to go ahead and push those to the, after, so that it's not draining any battery life that you don't need. And with adaptive brightness, it does just that. Now, I actually have it on, and I was playing around with it today, and I watched how it actually did begin to learn me. So, at nighttime, when every now and then when I use this as a device to check my alarm clock to see, how much time left, or, check a notification, when the lights are off, that's when I like to have the brightness full low. When I wake up, obviously I want the brightness a little bit brighter to counteract the lights that are in the room. And I noticed that Google was actually, or the software was actually doing that. As soon as I turn the lights off, you can see the slider automatically adjusts all the way down. And the same thing was the case when I went ahead and turned the lights back on. You can see the slider go ahead and adjust to where I would normally have it with that kind of light. Now, again, this is something I think is still going to be a work in progress. But so far, it's a big improvement from what they had before. Let's go ahead and go back to home, and let's go ahead and talk about, the gesture feature altogether. And at first, when I first, turned it on, it was annoying to me because of the simple fact that, I was so used to every time I swipe up, I get my home button. And instead, I was getting the recent app drawer. And this was annoying me because I'm like, okay, I want to be able to go to my home button, or hit the home button and get used to how things work. But you know what? Over time, as I begin to learn it more, I actually begin to like it. First thing first, let's go ahead and play around with this, as I call it, the pill. So you see when you're on the home button, you got this pill, which pretty much acts as a home button, as well as some other features you have there. So let's go ahead and play around with it. So if you hold the home button or the pill button, you go ahead and get Google Assistant, which that's what we have right there. Now, if you swipe up once, as you've seen before, actually I did it. So you swipe up once, you get the recent apps that you had open. And while you're there, let's just say you want to go ahead and activate split screen mode. You can actually do that by holding, let's go back. Still take me, okay, so you go ahead and click on the app, and if you hold it, hit the settings on the button, hit the button on top, and you'll see you have an option for split screen. So let's go ahead and play around with that again. So let's go with another app. So I have Chrome right here. So if I actually hit the icon right there in the middle, it'll give me the option for app info and split screen. So if I want to go ahead and go straight to split screen, which I'm going to go here right there, it pretty much makes it smaller, and I can go ahead and open another app right there. So let's go ahead and put settings there. Like I do is touch it. Now I have my split screen, and I can actually still look at what I'm doing from there. Now when I'm done, let's say I want to just keep one app or the other, I can just go ahead and either swipe all the way up and go back to the app I want to use. So let's go ahead and go back home. Now, again, for those of you who are going to be wanting to play around with gestures, and let's talk about the thing that I said that annoyed me, and that was getting to my app drawer. So like I said, I'm so used to before, and I still have that because, again, I have Oreo on my other phone, that when you swipe up once, I have access to my apps. Now, the only thing you get here is a bottom row of your most used apps or the apps that you use recently. But let's just say, again, you want to get to your app drawer, but you don't want to have to swipe up twice just to get your app drawer. Well, you can do that. All you got to do is do one long swipe up, And actually, it got to the point over time, I'm actually so used to it now that I can, get it for the most part when I want to. But I can see where someone out of the box may be annoyed by the simple fact that, okay, I'll swipe once and I'm not at my app drawer. I'm at something else. Now, while we're still talking about these gesture pill, when you go to your recently used apps, you can go ahead and use this pill to kind of literally swipe through that, as you see right here. And that's, again, it's something else that's pretty cool. Another thing that I actually am enjoying about this build is, let's say you like to take screenshots, which I do. I actually do take a lot of screenshots. So when you get your screenshot open, you can actually edit it on the fly. And that's what we're going to do. So you have access to the ability to be able to kind of just play around with that, just do what you want to do there. If I want to write something, draw on it, whatever you want. And then from there, you can share it. So that's pretty cool right there. Look, I think this build right here, this developer build, Android, and literally P in general, what Google is doing with Android P, is a huge, I ain't gonna say a huge step, but a good step forward. And what I also like is that Google is not, and I hope they don't do this. They're, just gradually getting people used to some of the changes. And like I said, if they continue on when they bring out the main build to people to make this an option, then they can allow people to comfortably utilize it. But if they start to feel like, okay, you know what, I'm not quite ready for it, they can go back to the thing that they were used to, which were the three buttons.